morning. Some boxing tonight. It's Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend. Normally, back in the day, this was a customary pre-Cotto weekend. Mostly, I think Tito fought that weekend sometimes, but in the mid 2000s, it would be comprised of it was a weekend the weekend Cotto would fight, and they'd coincided with the Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend, which is this weekend. And I guess carrying on tradition, we're going to see the main event, the fighter that Top Rank are trying to anoint as the next heir apparent to Miguel Cotto. And he's from the crib down here, and that is Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas is, easily one of the top prospects in boxing, or has been, and he's facing Patrick Teixeira, who has a win over Carlos Adams, who's now the WBC middleweight champion. So, the goal for this year, seemingly for Zayas, is for him to be placed in fights that you are going to make you think that, he's going to lead up to fighting for a world title. But I'm going to tell y'all this, man. This fight's a junior middleweight, but I feel Zayas is going to be a middleweight sooner than later. He looks like he's, kind of filling into his body, and, he's still relatively young. He's still actually really young, but he looks like he's going to ascend to 160 sooner than later. So I don't know if the idea is he's going to get a world title shot at 154, or if it's probably going to be at 160. I'm willing to bet it's probably going to be 160, only because with 154, it's just so clouded right now, and nobody really knows how all this is going to culminate. Like, is Crawford going to fight for Undisputed at some point? Is he going to go up to fight Canelo? What's going to happen with Fundora and Errol Spence? So it's the only title that I think is available for him at 154, if I'm not mistaken, is the IBF title. But I guess we'll see. I don't know what their immediate plans are, but I think clearly by the end of this year, I think they're trying to put Zayas, again, if he comes out tonight victorious, that they're going to put him in a bigger fight, that will kind of gauge like where he's really at. But we'll see that tonight. That's on ESPN. 10 o'clock start time, I believe. So yeah, pretty quick video today. But Adrien Broner, he fought at the crib last night as he faced off against Blair, the Flair Cobbs, who a lot of y'all have gotten to get familiar with. Not so much what he does in the ring, but like his outside the ring. He's copying Ric Flair a lot and whatever. But they fought last night. They were rumored to have been fighting for some time, and I guess exhaustion kind of set in, and everything that Broner could have taken, he's either taken, lost, or this is just the best option for him. But he faced off against Blair, the Flair Cobbs, last night, and like I imagine, Broner just at this stage of the game, and like you can't half-ass boxing. And I think Broner, for much of the latter stages of his career, has treated boxing as such. And the thing is, you treat boxing that way, boxing's going to treat you away. And I just feel Broner has... And people can give reasons why. I have some reasons why. But he just has become this fighter that, inactive... But that Maidana fight, man, really changed everything for him. And I don't know how many times we have to kind of hit that point home, because this is, again, man, Broner has not competitively fought. Like, he's fought, somebody in the telecast yesterday brought up he's fought twice in 5 years. Okay? Twice in 5 years. So you really can't expect a lot from a dude who doesn't take care of himself, doesn't train like how you're supposed to, and then you expect, the narrative I've always heard from people is like, oh man, if AB just takes it serious, if he just takes it serious, we're past that point. Like, we're past that point. Like, this is, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, Broner's going to retire right now. Likely not, unfortunately, because he needs the bread. But at some point, that train is going to come to a halt. Because as what I saw last night, again, this fight was down here, okay? There's about like, what, like, I'm being facetious, but like 150 people there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that allure that Broner once had just isn't there anymore, because it's a couple things. The generations are starting to like move on. Okay, Broner, if you think about it, he's from the previous era, or let's just say era, right? Broner was fighting in like the late 2000s. And then, you know, he had his roller coaster of a career. But if you really think about it, man, he's one of these fighters that these younger fighters aren't looking at him like, oh, it's AB. They don't recognize him like that. You know, people got to remember with sports in general, music, things continue on. You can be a fan of this particular person, but if they're not going along, they're going to get left behind. You may remember this guy, but like the 19, 20, 21-year-old, they're not going to know Broner like that. And particularly if Broner is somebody who's not, he's lost all his big fights, he hasn't taken himself seriously, like what do people expect, you know? So we got that Broner last night against a guy in Blair Cobbs that, no disrespect, is not an elite level fighter, like not even close. And Broner can't beat guys like that. Broner, with all due respect, does not belong in the ring. But does this mean he's going to be retiring now? Probably not. But again, I question, is Broner a selling point anymore? You know, even coming off of last night. And again, like, a lot of the frustration that we've always had with Broner is the fact that this dude, if he just threw his fucking hands, if he just threw his hands, I never understood that. I mean, some would say, you know, the Maidana fight. I mean, I believe part of that too. Something got taken out of him in the Maidana fight where he becomes very gun shy against a guy in Blair Cobbs who I don't think is like the biggest puncher. Dropped him, but I mean, going forward, you know, you have to start thinking, like, are any of these guys, even at 140 pounds, looking at Adrien Broner as this stepping stone? Like, I think that's what I'm saying. Like, those days are gone. You know, I think Broner is just, unfortunately, man, he's wasted talent. He really is. Because it's like it's one thing if a fighter never really had it, you know, but we knew Broner had the goods. But it's the old story, man, of you got to have the right people around you. You got to take care of yourself. You got to take the sport serious. And when you do those things, man, a lot of times, and you see it historically with other fighters, that they take their career serious. They don't do stupid shit. They take care of their bodies. Those fighters, you notice, like, they have long careers. Broner is just one of those stories, man, unfortunately, that I think for certain fighters, you're going to have to kind of use Broner as an example to say, don't do this. Don't follow this. You know, look at this. You know, that it's sad to say, but it's the truth. And seeing as how he looked last night against, again, a guy that's not an elite level guy in Blair Cobbs, like, why outside of, again, you needing money, why are you putting yourself out there like that? But I'm just looking at it from the prospect of even some of these other younger fighters. Is Broner this guy anymore that you even look as a stepping stone? Like, I don't think so. You know, I think he showed that last night. But for Blair Cobbs, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, the welterweight division is kind of in this weird state where you don't have with Crawford now moving up, and you have Boots being the IBF champion. Now he doesn't have an opponent. and the titles are kind of starting to get liquidated. The welterweight division is kind of weird right now. There's nothing going on. So for Blair Cobbs, can there be a situation where he lands a world title fight? Maybe. That was some were saying the hope for Broner, but at the end of the day, man, you have to take this serious, okay? Like, you have to take this serious, and I just think Broner, much of the camp that he had was fat camp. Like, clearly, man, like, you saw how he looked going into camp. He made 146, but you could tell like he was weak as shit making the weight. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I've been saying this for like the last 5 years as it concerns Adrien Broner. But I mean, I think at some point or another, he's not going to even be able to get to the stage of making even welterweight. And if the idea is you're going to come in heavier than that, again, like, what's the point outside of trying to get, the last bit of bread that you can? So that's pretty much it, man. Adrien Broner, or Blair Cobbs, defeats Adrien Broner last night, unanimous decision, pretty clear. Dropped him in the first or second round. But that's it, man. It's the story of Adrien Broner. It really, really is. Very gun shy. You get frustrated as a fan watching, and you're saying, like, why don't you just let your hands go? When you let your hands go, you're landing on him. But for whatever reason, he just doesn't. So that's pretty much it, man. Tonight, like I said, boxing on ESPN, Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend. They're gonna, they always have a card during this time, and then leading into next week, we got Frank Martin Tank and Frank Martin, which, I'm gonna say this one more time, guys, has been getting little to no publicity at all. I mean, mind you, they rolled out the red carpet of this late again. They did it. Listen, this is 3 fights in a row that the PBC have put together that at the 11th hour they've either announced it late, made changes late, all things as such. But the promotion, be it for Canelo Munguia, be it for the Tzu Fundora fight, which again had a little hiccup, like the lead up, like literally 2 weeks before when Thurman had to bow out. And then with this card, there's been no promotion from PBC or Prime or anything like promoting these pay-per-views. So being as there's a lot of tickets still available, there's been no promotion for this pay-per-view, and it's next week. And you got David Benavidez and Vazdig fighting on the undercard. I guess we'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna be on the road. I should be watching the fight Saturday night, doing a big move Saturday. But I should be able to watch it, and I'll give you my 2 cents on it. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm out. Enjoy you guys' week.